Good evening. I'm Patrick Ralston. I'm the director of the Arkansas Arts Council. Tonight, we gather to honor the recipients of the Individual Artist Fellowship Awards for 2021. These artists, working in three categories, poetry, contemporary craft, and cinematic arts, are leaders in their discipline in the state of Arkansas. These are people who have built an amazing body of work and continue to hone their craft and contribute and create and build the portfolio of Arkansas art.
Hello, my name is Kara Gunter, and I'm going to talk to you a little bit about a textile sculpture of mine entitled The Digestive System. So the Digestive System sculpture is a representation, a two-scale representation of the human digestive system. And when I say two-scale, I mean that I measured fabric out the same length of the small intestine and looked up the sizes of all the different organs and made each organ to scale. It is made entirely of cotton fabric, yarn, metallic thread, and straight pins. And I made this piece in response to my father's diagnosis of colorectal cancer. So I felt pretty powerless when I learned about my father's diagnosis. But soon after, I started to feel like I wanted to pay reverence to this lowly system of ours, the digestive system. It's not a very glamorous system because we all know what it does, and its function is often ignored, and it's the product of shame. But I wanted to elevate the digestive system and pay respect to it, and in my way make a whole and healthy and beautiful digestive system for my father. So I was actually working on this piece in the waiting room of the hospital while my father was having part of his colon removed. And I found that a very therapeutic and hopeful and meditational experience, though I'm not sure that everyone around me quite understood. I think some people thought it was a little morbid. And some people wondered why I would even want to do such a thing. But I really wanted to just to revere and to pay respect to elevate, and to make beautiful and whole the digestive system.
So all these set pieces are going to be used for a video and a short film. I've had to make so many different versions of a script for this. What started out as just a video concept has evolved into an entire short film, but it's really the same length. It's not much different, but I went from having, almost 50 actors to having 2. And from having 5 or 6 locations to having 2. Actually, just 1. We're going to shoot the entire short film on this property.
Okay, Brian, I've been working on this here and developing a little plan here with different cuts we can have here. I like it being real messy like I do. Okay, so this is a thing where she can cut this and make a mistake and get frustrated. There could be a part where she's drawing lines on the tree. It could be this one or this one. There could be a part where she's adding more black. We could even have her doing it up here, and then she puts more, she's expanding the forest beyond. We show the diorama here going off the black part. She can finish this like she just finished cutting it and slip it in right there. I want to have a scene where we take these brown, yellow, and green pieces and she cuts them and sprinkles them around just like it is in the film.
Hi, my name is Kaveh Basiri. First, I want to thank Arkansas Arts Council. I've lived in Arkansas for over 10 years, and this fellowship makes me feel like I'm now a true Arkansan. I'm an Iranian-American writer and translator. For me, writing and translating are two hands for building bridges between Iran and America, two countries whose fraught relationship has shaped my life. In my own writing, I'm interested in roots. My family's roots in Iran, the root or etymologies of words, including Persian words that have entered the English language, and the experience of putting down roots in a new land. How deep are these roots? What happens when one is uprooted? How fragile or vulnerable are new roots? Does one need to take roots to feel safe and at home? Will having roots become a source of nationalism, war, and othering? My writing bears witness to the challenges my family faced as first-generation immigrants. It deals with issues of home, faith, and identity. It took years for me to feel comfortable writing about this experience. I didn't want to repeat a cliché immigrant story, or to be a spokesman for Iran, or to gain empathy in publication because of political circumstances. But I also don't want to deny my heritage. My first chapbook, 99 Names of Exile, explores my complicated relationship with the figure of father. My biological father, God the Father, and my fatherland. It also bears witness to the experiences of my sister, who was jailed as a political prisoner when she was a teenager in Tehran. My most recent chapbook, Elementary English, was inspired by the ESL textbook my grandmother kept at her bedside alongside her Quran for more than 20 years. The structure of the chapbook mirrors the format of an ESL textbook. I'm now working on a full-length poetry book that expands on the work I've done in these two chapbooks. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Lisa Marie Evans. I'm an artist here in Fayetteville, Arkansas. I primarily work in documentary and animation. Here's a sample from an animation I recently created for a local series. Much of my documentary work focuses on the LGBTQ community. My most recent work is a feature film documenting the history and impact of lesbian fiction in the 20th century. Here's some clips from that.
I didn't understand what my difference was. About junior high, the boys started calling me Butch.
I was obviously queer. I was one of the only Jewish kids growing up in a town that was very WASP. I was a very lonely kid.
I had 2 little kids and a husband. And there's so many women in my generation who did likewise.
I fell into books like you fall into a river.
I would just disappear into them. It was the place I could hide. And literally, I would hide.
The Black Arts movement was very influential for me. You didn't go to any kind of rally or march without a poet or a singer kicking things off.
At 15, my best friend and I fell in love. While the adults went to the bars, the kids went to the ice cream parlor, that sort of thing. That's also where we found our first lesbian pulps.
You could take a book home, and under the covers at night with a flashlight or something, you could enter a world.
It's so important to tell these stories and document the history of the queer community, especially given the current laws here in Arkansas. It's vital for the health and well-being of all communities that we share these stories to learn and grow together. Thank you so much.
Hi, my name is Kensuke Imada. I am an assistant professor of ceramics at the University of Arkansas Little Rock. I want to start out thanking the Arkansas Art Council for granting me the Individual Artist Fellowship Award. It is a great honor. Also, I'd like to share a little bit about myself and my work. So I grew up in Japan, place called Kamakura. I came to the United States 2001, and this is some of our earlier work about diving. Moments of diving is exciting, at the same time very nervous. I'm referring that moments to moments of moving to new places, getting new jobs, or even the first day of classes. I think this is something that we can all share, how we get nervous and exciting the first day of everything. 2008, I had an opportunity to work at the Chihuly company in Seattle. Since then, glass became one of the other medium that I always like to work with. This is Stephen Powell and me. He's a Kentucky artist and we taught at the same college. We collaborated a piece and I made a clay head and I made a mold and Steve will blow glass into the mold. And this is some of our finished work. I also worked with other artist Paul Nelson. And this is some of our finished work. And recently, I've been trying to develop some new body of work. I've been using different texture and different colors. I'm not 100% sure where this is gonna go yet, but I hope that I can see something in the next couple years. So thank you very much for your support. I know the current situation, we don't have any face-to-face event, but I hope I get to meet you in person someday. And thank you.
Hello everybody, my name is Aaron Calvert and I'm a recipient of one of the Individual Artist Fellowships. The category I was accepted for is Contemporary Craft. And I'd like to just take a moment and thank the Arts Council and everybody involved with securing the funds for those fellowships. Personally, I plan on using that award to reinvest in my studio so that I can continue to produce those works of art that excite me. I'm really appreciative of the fellowship and what that offers individual artists. A little bit about my background. Originally, I'm from Litchfield, Ohio, and Litchfield is a rural farming community. And one of the great things about coming from a rural community is your access to nature, but also that independence of kind of being out on your own a little bit. As a kid, I could often be found maybe knee-deep in a creek, lifting up rocks, looking at what was underneath them, running through the woods. As I got older, I got involved in organizations such as 4-H and the Boy Scouts. Looking back at the experiences from my youth. I look at them positively and notice how they've shaped me as an adult, but also influenced me as an artist. I'm always proud to tell people that I'm a first-generation college graduate. So after graduating high school, I went to Kent State University, and I earned my Bachelor of Fine Arts degree in crafts from Kent State. After graduating from Kent, I went on to Edinburgh University of Pennsylvania, where I earned my Master of Fine Arts degree in ceramics from Edinburgh. In 2005, my wife and I, we moved to Arkansas so that I could pursue a career in teaching at Henderson State University. And so for the past 16 years, I've been teaching ceramics at Henderson State. In 2018, 2019, my family and I, we made a big move, and we moved from Arkadelphia, Arkansas, all the way up to Russellville. Part of the reason for the move was for career opportunities for my wife, but it also has offered us some opportunities to establish a home studio and connect with a different group of artists in this area. The works that I've submitted for the fellowship, they're all from a series that I call the Brain Rattle series. And the Brain Rattle series is a series of work. They're usually figurative, or they're wild animals. They're all hand built, and they're very highly decorative on the outside. So on the outside are what I call the brain rattles, and the brain rattles are symbols and images and codes and various different things that help depict both the important and the mundane in my life. They can be things that are in the news. They can be personal things that are happening in my life, and they can be really boring stuff like waiting in the line at a grocery store. And so that surface, that highly decorative surface on my work is almost like a documentation of myself. Thank you so much for listening to this little talk, and I appreciate that, and I hope to meet you hopefully physically in the future very soon. Thank you so much.
Hi, I'm Hiba Tahir. I'm a poet and YA novelist based in Fayetteville, where I'm in my 4th year at the MFA program at the University of Arkansas. I serve as senior editor of the University of Arkansas Honors College and the social media director of Open Mouth Literary Center. I was born in Pakistan to an entomologist and a businesswoman, but I moved to the southern US when I was 3, and I've never left it since. From a young age, I've been interested in journalism. In college, I joined the school paper, and I don't know how it happened, but I very quickly found myself becoming notorious on campus. I exposed primate abuse in the university labs, corruption within the student government, issues in Greek life, and even a dominatrix servicing one of my professors, among many, many other things. For me, writing became interrogation, and I think I carry this into my poetry. During my junior year in college, I published a quick humorous essay about using the app Tinder as a Muslim in Mississippi. The essay caught the eye of the owner of a local newspaper, who also owned 33 other papers in the United States and 1 paper in Cuba, and who wanted to republish it in all of them. So I went viral, and I was given my own humor column. I learned a lot during that time period in my life. I learned the value of humor in connecting people who might otherwise resist connection. And now, as a poetry MFA, I still try to find ways to interject humor in my work. I'm currently working on a hybrid piece, a novel in verse that features several poems connected by a narrative through line. I'm taking themes and conceits from poems I've written during my time in the MFA and building a story around them. Right now, the basic premise is that a young immigrant woman grappling with the death of her best friend returns to summer camp to find that her friend is back, but much changed by death and their time apart. In addition to exploring the themes of death and friendship, it will also deal with themes of imperialistic erasure, immigrant and diaspora identity, and inherited trauma.
my name is Karsten Johnson, and I am a poet living in Fayetteville. I am currently a fourth-year student in the University of Arkansas MFA Creative Writing program. I'm currently working on my thesis and getting ready to finish the program. To talk about my poetics a little bit, I would place myself in the confessional genre. And what I mean by that is that I follow a lineage of women poets and writers like Adrienne Rich who use poetry to catalog their own experiences and to provide witness to their memories. So I write about personal topics like family, spirituality, grief, and I use poetry as a form of memoir or autobiography to provide witness to both my experience and my family's experiences. And I will now show my workspace. So this is my workspace. It's quite simple. It's just a small desk in the corner of the room up against the wall. I don't have a view of a window or anything. It helps me focus more if I actually don't have anything to look at. So there are a few things on this desk that are really important to my process. So I always have a stack of books on my desk. One thing that really helps me get inspired when I'm about to start writing is to read other people's poetry. That is very inspiring to me, and so often before I start writing, I'll pick up one of the books in the stack and read a couple poems from it to get me going. And then I always start writing on paper first, so I'll jot notes here and then I'll type it for the next draft. So that is my workspace.
Hey, what's up, everybody? It's Tay Butler. I'm a Houston-based artist, multidisciplinary, living and working in Fayetteville, Arkansas. And this is my latest work, Florence Gayle Davis Bus Stop, in memory of Florence Gayle Davis. A lot of my work is installation-based, collage-based, photography-based, paperwork, billboard work, video montage. I do a little bit of everything. But everything I do has a common thread, and that's Black history. It's Black migration, Black movement, taking what's happened in the past and applying it to now, trying to understand now from a reference of what happened before. So thinking of the Great Migration, we think of it as something historic, but it's still happening. Great Migration hasn't stopped, it never stopped. I'm part of that remigration of Black people coming back to the South. So that's what my work explores through the archive and also through original creation.